80% of Western adults will experience significant back pain at some point in their lives. Not a twinge, not a pulled muscle from one bad afternoon, significant, recurring, life-adjusting back pain that becomes so familiar it stops feeling like a symptom and starts feeling like a personality trait. My back is just bad. It has always been bad. It will probably always be bad. Japan has some of the lowest rates of chronic back pain among industrialized nations, not because Japanese people have better spines, not because they have access to superior health care or more advanced physiotherapy, because 6 daily habits keep the spine in the position it was designed to be in for most of the hours of most days, and the spine, kept in that position consistently, does not develop the chronic tension patterns that become the back pain most Westerners have accepted as inevitable. The Western answer to back pain is furniture, a better chair, an ergonomic desk, a lumbar support cushion, a mattress that costs the same as a small car. And none of it works in the long term, because none of it addresses what is actually happening. The spine is not designed to be supported. It is designed to be used. 16 hours a day in a chair that holds the body in a fixed position is not rest for the spine. It is a slow, consistent lesson in how to stop working, and the body learns it thoroughly. Number 3 on this list has nothing to do with the back directly, and number 6 happens in the 10 minutes before sleep and determines how the back feels for the entire following morning. Dr. Stuart McGill, professor of spine biomechanics at the University of Waterloo and one of the most cited researchers in spinal health, has spent 3 decades documenting what chronic back pain actually is at the mechanical level. His conclusion is consistent. Most chronic back pain is not structural damage. It is a movement pattern problem, the result of the spine being held in compromised positions for long enough that the surrounding muscles forget how to do anything else. The solution is not treatment. It is different daily positioning, maintained consistently until the muscles remember what they were built for. Japan has been doing this without the research. 6 habits, each one keeping the spine active, aligned, and supported by the muscles that were designed for the job. The first habit is floor sitting, not seiza specifically, the traditional formal kneeling position, but the broader Japanese practice of spending meaningful time at floor level rather than exclusively in chairs. When the body sits on the floor, it cannot be passive. The hips, the deep stabilizing muscles of the lower back, and the postural muscles of the spine are all required to participate in simply staying upright. The body is held by its own structure rather than by external furniture. In Japan, floor sitting is woven into daily life. Meals, relaxation, conversation, in ways that mean the body moves between positions throughout the day, rather than being locked into a single chair-shaped posture for 8 hours. It is not that the chair is the villain. It is that the chair, as the only position held for the entirety of the waking day, progressively tightens the hip flexors, deactivates the glutes, and teaches the lower back muscles to compensate for work they were never supposed to do. 10 minutes on the floor today, not exercise, just sitting. On the floor, cross-legged, while reading or watching something. The discomfort felt in the hips and lower back in the first few minutes is not weakness. It is the body remembering it has muscles in places the chair has been doing the work for years. The second habit is carrying things close to the body. Watch how most Westerners carry a heavy bag. It hangs from one shoulder, pulling that side down, tilting the spine laterally, and asking the muscles along one side of the back to work constantly against the imbalance, while the other side does nothing. Repeated daily across years, this asymmetry becomes structural. In Japan, the traditional carrying culture, whether a furoshiki cloth bundle, a basket, or a backpack worn properly on both shoulders, keeps the load centered and the spine symmetrical. The weight is distributed across the body rather than hung from one point. The muscles work evenly. The spine stays vertical. Switch the shoulder bag to a backpack worn on both shoulders for 1 week. If a single shoulder bag is non-negotiable, switch the shoulder it hangs from every 30 minutes. The back that has been pulling to one side for years will notice the difference within days. The third habit, the one that has nothing to do with the back directly. Jaw tension. The jaw and a lower back are connected through a chain of fascial tissue that runs the length of the body. When the jaw is chronically tense, clenched, held, ground, that tension travels down through the neck, through the thoracic spine, and into the lower back. The lower back that hurts at the end of every day may be responding to something happening 12 inches above the shoulders. In Japan, the concept of hara, the body's physical center located in the lower abdomen, is the focus of attention rather than the head and jaw, which are where most Western people hold their chronic tension. Keeping awareness in the lower body, the belly, the ground beneath the feet, naturally releases the upper body grip that feeds into the back. Once an hour, unclench the jaw deliberately. Let the tongue drop from the roof of the mouth. Let the shoulders fall 1/2 inch. Notice where that release reaches. For most people, it reaches further than they expect. The fourth habit is squatting for low tasks. Picking something up off the floor, reaching into a low cupboard, tending to something at ground level. The Western default is to bend forward at the waist, loading the lower back with the weight of the upper body at the worst possible mechanical angle. The Japanese default, maintained through a culture that spends more time at floor level, is to squat, hips below knees, spine upright, the load distributed through the legs rather than hung from the lumbar vertebrae. The deep squat that is effortless for most people who grew up in floor-sitting cultures is a movement that has been progressively lost in the West as furniture replaced the floor. The lower back that hurts from bending is almost always a lower back that has been bending instead of squatting for every low task across an entire adult life. Practice the squat without a task attached to it. Feet shoulder-width apart, heels on the floor, hold for 30 seconds. It is not comfortable at first. It is not supposed to be. It is the body reclaiming a range of motion it was designed to use daily and has been slowly losing for years. The fifth habit is deliberate walking pace and gait. Not walking faster or further, walking differently. The Japanese walking gait, observed across cultures by physiotherapists and movement researchers, tends toward a more upright torso, a lower heel strike, and a more engaged core than the forward-leaning, heel-heavy stride common in Western walking. The forward lean compresses the lumbar spine with every step. Across 10,000 steps a day, that compression accumulates into the familiar low-grade backache that arrives by early evening and is blamed on the chair. On the next walk, notice where the head is relative to the shoulders. If the head is forward of the shoulders, which it almost certainly is, gently bring it back until the ears are directly above them. Feel what happens in the lower back when the head returns to its correct position above the spine rather than in front of it. The relief is immediate, and the reason it feels unfamiliar is simply that the head has been forward for so long that backward has started to feel wrong. The sixth habit, the one that determines how the back feels tomorrow morning, the position the body sleeps in. Most Westerners sleep either on their back with no support under the knees or on their side with no support between the knees, both positions that allow the lower back to remain in a slightly rotated or extended position for 7 or 8 hours. The spine that spent the day in compensated positions spends the night in compensated positions and arrives at morning having had no opportunity to decompress. In Japan, the traditional sleeping surface, the futon laid directly on the floor, naturally encourages a more neutral spinal position than a soft mattress, which allows the heaviest parts of the body to sink and the spine to curve around them. But the floor futon is not the habit transferable here. The habit is this: a thin pillow placed under the knees for back sleepers or a pillow placed between the knees for side sleepers. These two positions maintain the natural curve of the lumbar spine through the night rather than allowing it to flatten or rotate for 8 hours. Tonight, before sleep, place a pillow under or between the knees depending on the sleeping position. That single adjustment changes what the lower back does for the next 7 hours, and the morning will show the difference before any other habit has had time to take effect. 6 habits. No gym required, no physiotherapy appointment, no equipment beyond a pillow already on the bed. The back that has been bad for years is not bad. It has been poorly positioned for years. That is a different problem, and a solvable one. Which of these 6 are you starting with today? Leave it in the comments. And if someone in your life has been saying their back is just bad for as long as you have known them, send this to them. It has not always been bad. It has just never been given the right conditions to be otherwise. I will see you in the next one.